One of the most celebrated figures in Greek cinema is Michael Cacoyannis, aka Michalis Cacoyannis. His debut film, 1954's Windfall in Athens, will be discussed briefly today for this program. I like this plot synopsis submitted to IMDb. On a lazy Athenian morning of a warm summer Sunday, Nina, a young and fresh saleswoman, decides to go for a splash, only to have her chronically empty purse stolen, and with it, a soon-to-be winning lottery ticket. And just like that, fate and a pair of juvenile delinquents looking for a quick buck will bring together unfortunate Nina and Alexis, the ticket's handsome new owner, against the backdrop of irritating and fruitless litigation. Of course, Mina wants her robbed luck back. However, what if fortune and the impatient god of desire, Cupid, are already on her doorstep? This plot synopsis was apparently supplied by one Nick Regianas. This film only has one review published on IMDb, from 2020 no less. It reads, "It was his sophomore effort, Stella, which put Cacoyannis on the map and made Melina Mercouri a star." At first, Windfall in Athens appears like some documentary, something Robert Siodmak and Marcel Kahn did in the late 20s, early 30s. The director's depiction of still sleepy Athens retains lots of freshness and charm. The ending also imitates the German and French attempts. Sunday is a time to rest, even if a shrew has not yet understood it, and then you have to wait till the next one. The core of the movie, the ticket chase, reminds the French of René Clair's Le Million and Jacques Becker's Antoine and Antoinette, but without the nasty side of the latter. At least to my eyes, it beats Clair at his own game. Cacoyannis, in a derivative screenplay, the married lawyer, the jealous wife, the handsome artist whose rich father cut off his means of subsistence, shows freshness, delicacy, and plenty of go, particularly for a first effort. Windfall in Athens reminds me of one of the Italian neorealist downstream comedies. They seek to do justice to the suffering taking place outside of the cinema, to validate it, and then to offer a light-hearted temporary antidote to misery. It is a sincere semi-realistic escapism. Obviously closer to 2 cents worth of hope than Europa 51, Windfall in Athens seeks to depict its city's culture to the world, capturing in time the Athens of the early 1950s. It makes for warming viewing when experiencing this film through the prism that it is a portal through time. This film isn't as abundant on directorial style, which we might expect from retrospectively knowing Cacoyannis as an established European auteur. Instead, Windfall in Athens attempts to be naturalistic, without resorting to a documentary sterility, emotional vectors motivating its framing rather than photographic precision. I'll read out some comments which Vasilis Karalis has made about Windfall in Athens. With his first feature film, Windfall in Athens, 1954, Cacoyannis attempted something innovative, while most directors, especially of the pre-war generation, struggled to domesticate their camera within the possibilities and the confines of the studio and so enable themselves to be in command of its effects. He dared to take it out in the open and explore the bustling realities of a society which is still struggling to cope with the challenges of the present and the grim memories of the recent past. Such a risky exodus from the safety of the studio to the uncontrolled ambiguities of the open reality established a particular form of ever-expansive realism that was his distinct contribution to the development of cinematic realism in the country. From his very first film, Cacoyannis' camera focused persistently on the urban skyline, the streets, the houses, and the movement of people through them in a continuous spatial unfolding without horizons. By moving it amongst them at an almost frantic pace, Cacoyannis was the first director to liberate the camera frame from the revered immobility of prestigious family portraits and the allure of photographic stillness. The successful formal achievement of his first film entailed a psychologization of space that allowed him as a director to proceed with the investigation of emotional complexities and conflicts, not simply as social facts, but, more importantly, as internalized psychological events. With his first film, Cacoyannis explored the ways in which the young generation was socialized and conditioned to accept predetermined gender and social roles. Yet one could say that, formally, Cacoyannis was still trying to find his voice. He had directed a farce, an intelligent satire of the rising petite bourgeoisie, during its ascent to power in a period of Reconstruction. Despite its comic sense, characterized by witty dialogue, fast editing, and funny situational misunderstandings, the film overall is a rather serious depiction of a society in a state of intense social mobility. Many social references, such as the role of the press and the judiciary, indicate the tensions that give this film its latent political edge. What is absent from its story is also important. Cacoyannis was cognizant of the fact that certain themes needed to be depicted without actually being articulated. In other words, they needed to be a part of the plot, but not of the story, and to be presented in a way that allowed them to escape being noticed by the censors, or indeed the audience. Comedies, especially during the post-war period, typically ridiculed authority and its servants. The invisible authorities, the government, the army officer, and the secret police, were the central targets of Greek cinema in this period, and one could certainly claim that the invisibility of power in the film was a response to its ubiquitous intrusion into daily life. However, in the spirit of his early humanistic optimism and liberalism, Cacoyannis found a deep sense of justice and fairness, not in the legal system and the courts, but in the human desire for recognition. Beautiful. Windfall in Athens is an extremely pleasant viewing experience, more valuable, I think, as a cultural artifact than as a profound technical achievement or innovation, although, of course, the evident coordination of its production is wholly admirable. Yeah, but yes, obviously, yes. Windfall in Athens comes together as a highly pleasing picture. I absolutely recommend this. Thank you all, and have a fantastic day.